Well, thank you so much for joining this short tutorial video on how to use the Colorado in-home care cost model. The Colorado in-home care cost model looks at the true cost of providing in-home non-medical care to older adults in the state. Um, and to get more information about sort of what we mean by the true cost, um, please feel free to go to our website and look at the handful of blog posts and reports that we have put up with this cost model and webinar that go into a little bit more depth. So first you can see here that on the left-hand side, we have the adjustable parameters, and this is where you, the user, will be able to make the changes to your specifications and what you are looking for. On the right-hand side, you can see the cost of care here. It will always be listed for the state of Colorado in the cost breakdowns. And then on the farthest right-hand side column will be county level information if you are choosing to look at the county level costs. So going back to the adjustable parameters and walking through how you can use these. Of course, if you are interested in county level or a specific county, you can feel free to make that selection here. Again, the statewide costs will always be shown on the output. And you can also make changes to the population of care recipients. So for example, all of these care recipients are 65 years old and older and have an ambulatory need, for example, or are 65 years old and older and have a cognitive impairment. Or we can select here the direct care need. So they are 65 years old and older and are likely to have some sort of direct care need now, in-home direct care need. And you can see here at the top that it highlights and gives you that specific population number. Same with the wage types. You can select current wages for paid caregivers. This will only be applied to paid caregivers, of course. It could be their current wages that they are receiving. You can select higher wages, housing, or self-sufficiency wages. And again, you will see that selection be highlighted at the top where it actually shows you what that salary selection is. And then the benefit package. In this drop-down menu, you will see a currently required or required and preferred. Currently required, as implied, would be the benefits that are by law in Colorado required. So thinking of something like family, for example, that would be included already in our currently required package. But if you were to select the required and preferred, this is a bit more robust and includes things like paid time off and the cost of health insurance. Again, you can find a little bit more detail on that in our blog posts that are posted on our website. Moving to the upper right-hand side of this parameters box, you will see here some direct inputs that you can, as the user, change. So we have the percent of paid care, percent of CDOS, and the percent of unpaid care. And these three should total to 100%. And so of the total care that is needed based on some of these selections, you can sort of dictate how much is being provided by paid care or unpaid care, etc. And you can just go ahead and directly input and enter in those percentages, but just make sure that you change the others accordingly to ensure that the three here equal to 100%. Moving to the FTE per care recipient, this is used to indicate the amount of hours needed per care recipient. And this is indicated within the context of an FTE. So if you were to change this to 100%, let's say, that would be indicating 40 hours per week. That is the full-time equivalent schedule is 40 hours per week. If you wanted to assume that based on the population you've selected, and it's only maybe recipients are actually getting on average maybe 20 hours of care per week, you could go ahead and just directly change that and put that to be 50%. And then lastly, the last things you can change are some additional trainings that you can choose in the drop-down menu to include or exclude. The dementia training here, if you include this, would only be attributed to paid caregivers. We heard from partners that, for example, if you wanted to look at the population with a cognitive impairment, you might be interested in including this additional training that those caregivers are equipped to provide care for someone with dementia, for example. Similarly, for the culturally competent training, if you include that, it is applied to paid caregiving to ensure that our paid caregivers are able to be responsive um, to the recipients of care. On the right-hand side, bottom right-hand side here, these other two trainings are attributed only to, for example, how to recruit for CDOS. This, you can hover here and see that it is an additional training that can be only added or attributed to the cost of CDOS. So we heard from CDOS recipients that they would appreciate a training on how to recruit caregivers, so you could choose to include that. And similarly here, the self-care for unpaid care, if you use this drop-down menu to include it, this would be attributed as an additional training for unpaid care givers. And then, of course, here you would see these costs adjust based on your selections. You have the overall cost, which is broken down how much is from paid care, CDOS, or unpaid care, and unpaid care is further broken down. If it's coming from lost wages, health impacts, equipment or additional training costs here, or cost of productivity loss. And the last thing that I will highlight in this tutorial video is if you are looking at county level information here on this map once you have major adjustable selections and parameters, you can hover over each county and get some of that quick information just for comparison here. Thank you so much. And if you are looking for further detail or information, please refer to our website where we have blog posts with a little bit more detail on each of these, as well as a recorded webinar with some more information.